Justin Baldoni is breaking his silence on those alleged HR complaints. He's got a lot to say, and I've got a lot of questions now after this interview. Blake Lively, I almost said Blake Reynolds. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were snubbed apparently by celebs at the SNL anniversary party. And where is her amended complaint? It may drop within the next hour. We don't know, but we still have a lot that we will be discussing. Let's get it. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's going on, guys? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. Hello, happy, what's today? Your face must start changing after you sell your soul. Is my face changing after, have I sold my soul? Who's the highest bidder? Tell me who I sold my soul to, Ginger. Please let me know. Looking good today. Thank you. The color looks good. Thank you. It's a laundry day, so I just threw this on today. It's been the wildest chaotic week. I have to go to New York in the morning. So just a heads up, there are no more lives that'll be taking place for the rest of this week, which is why I was hoping that we would have some sort of update from Blake Lively. I mean, listen, follow me at Just Plain Zack. I'll go live on my personal Instagram account, or follow at No Filter with Zack on Instagram. I think the link's in the description below. The amended complaint is expected this afternoon. Well, yes. Well, it's already 8, 9, 10, 11. It's already almost noon there in New York. I'm in LA. It's 8:41 here in Los Angeles, but it's already like noon, going to be noon in New York. Where is this complaint? Some people are saying it likely won't be in until the end of day today. But my thing is, it's like, you were supposed to have this on Friday, on Valentine's Day. We're still waiting. Where's it at, Blake? Where's it at? We'll see. I hear it's allegedly a 300-page filing. I don't know if that's true or not. I believe that information also came out with those HR reports. So it's uncertain what those who is trying to get those out there and who was expecting it to take off the way that it has. But boy, did the internet get lit on fire this weekend going into this week. But Bryan Freedman just went on Billy Bush's podcast, which at first I was like, that's a choice, because Billy Bush was enthralled in his scandal with President Trump about the, grab them by the kitty whole scandal. And then, I mean, I always thought the Billy Bush's canceling was just kind of strange. It was like leaked videos. Like, I get it why they're upset with the person that made that comment, but like, we're really going to cancel. But that was like when we were canceling everybody, right? So I get it. But interesting that of all the outlets that Bryan Freedman could have gone, he chose Billy Bush, which, nothing personally against him, is just a random choice, to be honest with you. But anyway, he should have talked to you. I wish he would have talked to me, because, I wish he would have. I would have had a lot more thought-provoking questions about this. Billy did a good job, though. It was a very short interview, but I thought Billy Bush did a good job with it. He asked about these alleged HR complaints, which I understand. But there were just a couple of things in the interview that so Billy brings it up, and Bryan Freedman's reaction to it. And I just want to be clear, I'm still very much in believing Justin Baldoni, but there's just something about these HR reports that feels so off. Who was trying to get them out there? And if they've allegedly been going on for weeks, Candace Owen said that she heard about them weeks ago, that TMZ turned them down. All these people turned them down, right? Bryan Freedman, from my understanding, is pretty close to TMZ. So if these things were going around for weeks, usually before the press debunks it, they would likely do their due diligence, right? Wouldn't they reach out to Blake Lively's camp and reach out to Justin Baldoni's camp and then reach out to Sony and try to get a comment in order to dispute whether these are real or not real? So when Billy Bush brings this up in the interview and Bryan Freedman kind of acts like this is the first time, like he plays coy and kind of acts like this is the first time he's ever hearing about it. It's like, really? So what are the dates on these complaints? Huh? What? Oh, you can see an M there? What is this? Wheel of Fortune? We're trying to buy a Val. It made me a little skeptical, where I feel like yesterday I was very much case closed about these HR complaints. And I was like, they're probably just either bogus or they were drafts of something that Blake was planning to bring forth and didn't. Like, whatever it was, I was like, it was a lot of smoke with not a lot of Zack, don't go on the dark. I'm not going on the dark side, but it wouldn't be fair of me to come on here and, continue to hold Blake Lively accountable if there are questions that I'm starting to have. Because for me, this was just it's not the move that I would have expected from someone as savvy and ruthless as Bryan Freedman, right? Like, Bryan Freedman is a ball buster with teeth. He will dig his fangs deep into you, no scraps, right? Ball buster with teeth, unlike Blake. So that's why for me, it was just it just felt like something that I wasn't expecting from Bryan Freedman. But then it made me think, okay, well, then there must be a bigger game that he's playing here, right? Like, there must have been a reason he wanted to do this interview, and maybe it was to discredit these or to downplay them or because he did make a very good point of saying that to his knowledge, there are no HR complaints that have ever been filed, which I think is good. You have to read the subcontext in these things, right? Read between the lines because he also another red flag, or not a red flag, but another thing that really stood out to me in his interview with Billy Bush is he made it seem like he played coy when it came to these HR complaints, but he very quickly was able to reference the Variety article that I showed you yesterday. I actually think I have it. I still have it here. He referenced this Variety article, and I know this is the same article that Perez Hilton referenced. And I mean, Perez Hilton's chronically on the internet. Perez Hilton, I'm sure, would very much be able to reference an article like this. But what stood out to me is this line specifically, which was that Variety had reached out to Sony about whether or not HR complaints had been filed against Baldoni during the production of It Ends With Us. They were told no, and they were told no back in August of 2024, right? And then this article comes out in December 2024. Since then, we've had a number of New York Times articles, Variety articles, Hollywood Reporter, TMZ, Daily Mail. Like, we've had so many articles that for Bryan Freedman to quickly be able to reference this one article where this statement, even from Sony, this statement was like a footnote in all of it. So to me, I was like, how are you so quickly able to reference this footnote of a comment at the bottom of this article that was completely about something else? I mean, it was about the case, but it wasn't specifically about the HR complaints. But you were quickly able to reference this footnote in this one of many articles that we've now seen. And yet this is the first time you're claiming that you're playing a little too coy for me. So my thing is, it's like there has to be a bigger game that he's playing here. And maybe it is to discredit them. Maybe and listen, here's the other thing. If there ever was any HR complaints or any investigations that were conducted by Sony, I would imagine Justin Baldoni would have had to have participated in those investigations. They would have had to have questioned him. His statement would have had to have been published in these HR complaints if they were legit, right? So I would imagine Baldoni would be aware of that. He would disclose it to Bryan Freedman, and Bryan Freedman would have already been aware and prepared. So I don't buy that Bryan Freedman had never really known about these before. Maybe he was trying to play coy in an attempt to discredit them in some way, which sure, but to me it didn't land the way I think he was hoping that it was going to land, because to me it just made my spidey senses tingle a little bit more. Because also, when you're doing an interview like this, especially with the legal nature of this interview, somebody like Billy Bush, who's a seasoned reporter, and somebody like a juggernaut like Bryan Freedman, they're going to discuss the talking points ahead of time. They're going to be clear. Like, Billy would do his due diligence enough to tell Bryan, hey, I'm going to ask about these things. I'm going to ask about these HR complaints. And then Bryan would be like, what HR complaints? And he would then give him a briefing before they would actually go on record and on mic, right? So again, to me, it just made my spidey senses tingle a little bit. I was like, something feels off. But then it really made me go back to, well, who was trying to put these out there? Who was shopping them around, and why? Are they completely fabricated? And if they're completely fabricated, who fabricated them? And what was the intention behind the leak? Who would want to manipulate the narrative enough and muddy the waters, right? So on tomorrow's podcast, you'll hear me sit down with Keith and oh man, why is my brain glitching at the moment? Sorry, my brain's been all over the place. Um, Keith and Stuart, Stuart Albertson and Keith. They were Keith Davidson. They are two attorneys. They have a law firm, and they've been covering this case as well. I did their live stream last week or over the weekend. So they're going to be on, and I've been picking their brain about this, and how from their perspective, I just like to get deeper analysis. That's why I've been on the phone with different HR experts and classic HR and Hollywood HR, and now and PR experts and attorneys. Like, I talk to all of these people off the record so often to make sure that the context that I have and the background information I have can provide value to any commentary that I'm putting out there. So there'll be a good episode. It is pre-recorded. That'll air tomorrow, though. So we likely, unless Blake Lively decides to drop something within the next 2 hours, we're likely not going to be covering it in tomorrow's episode. But don't worry, I will dive deep into all alleged 300 pages. So, Lofi says, spot on. I felt the same way about his HR complaint response. It just felt off for Bryan Freedman. Whereas normally, like when you listen to him on Megyn Kelly, when he did that interview, he was on it. When you see the statements he's making in court, he's sharp, he's on it, he doesn't play coy. And so to me, I was kind of like, he was sarcastic about the documents as proof. Yeah. But again, to me, he had too much of a poker face which tells me he's aware of these, but why is he concerned? Why is he, what is the poker face for? What does he know that he doesn't want to reveal in this poker face that he has with Billy Bush? Because he knew this was coming up. He knew Billy was going to ask him about this. There's a reason Billy's giving all of the contextual information and background information about how these got out and what they're being talked about, yada, yada, yada. Like, there's a reason Billy's saying all of this and not Baldoni's attorney, not Bryan Freedman. So to me, it was just a little sus. But it tells me that there's more that we're not being told of this story. So whereas yesterday I was kind of like, I'm over these HR complaints. Now I have more questions. Now I'm like, wait, I'm not ready to put this to bed just yet. This seems highly suspicious. And is this likely something that came from Blake Lively? And is this likely going to blow up in her face? And does he know that it's going to, like, that was my other thing, is the legal strategy. Is he playing dumb and is he playing coy so that it makes it look like he's unprepared for what they're about to drop? When in reality, I think he's smart and he's a few steps ahead. I think he knows exactly every angle that they can be hit from. He knows all the Achilles heels. He knows all the weak spots. He knows all the blind shots, right? He's prepared to debunk anything that they throw his way, unless there's some sort of smoking gun that nobody knows about. And the reality is there wouldn't be a smoking gun that nobody knows about because they wouldn't be able to keep that in without Baldoni. Baldoni knows everything that went down. Baldoni knows what he did. Baldoni knows what he didn't. Baldoni knows what questions were asked of Sony and, other execs at Wayfair. So I'm guessing Jenny Slate might be part of the HR complaint. Maybe, but I also thought maybe part of the attempt to leak these HR complaints was to force Jenny Slate and Isabella to come forth, should they be the two that filed these complaints. Like, there's just so many open-ended questions that continue to unfold as a result of these HR complaints. I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't keep poking and asking questions. Right. I think everybody wants us to just lie down, play dead, and walk away from this, but there's something to it. And I know, a lot of people just want to move on from it. But I just, after yesterday's interview with Billy Bush, I am just more suspicious. The acting is all on video. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Bryan Freedman's team has already reviewed all of the footage. They have, I'm sure, a kill file on Jenny Slate. I'm sure they have, the kill file on Isabella is already out there if she is the third person, because we have all the text messages and the interviews. And I assume that's why they put that information out there ahead of time, right? That's why they put Isabella's text messages and Isabella's EPK interview excerpts in the timeline and in the amended complaint. That way everybody's fully aware, and like they can't use Isabella as some sort of smoking gun because we already have what she says about Baldoni. Every time Zack says Wayfair, I think, what did Kelly Clarkson do? Because you're thinking the Wayfair furniture. Am I pronouncing it? It's Wayfarer. Yeah. The judge also said pipe it down to the media. With Bryan Freedman being coy, he could try to save face to the judge. That's also a possibility. Like, he probably knew, I have to find a way to shut this information down, but I also have to be mindful and know that the judge told me I had to be on my best behavior. So that could also be a good reason why he's playing coy. I didn't get that vibe from the video. Freedman was just more careful with his words because the judge said no more satellite public battle. Fair, but again, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I wasn't poking at the loopholes in the story, and if I wasn't asking the questions, because that's we're all trying to figure this out. We're like detectives. There was a woman that I ran into yesterday. I don't know if she listens to the podcast or she just, like, follows me online, but I was walking the dogs and she was like, "Oh my god, I see your videos online." And she was just so savvy and so smart about, like, all the details that she knew and all the names. She's like, "And Jamie Heath and da-da-da," and she, like, knew all, and it's just like this, random woman that I'm running into on the street here in downtown. And she was just, like, so excited to discuss the case with me. And it was just really funny. But, like, we're too savvy and we're too invested at this point. And there is one thing I do want to give Bryan Freedman credit for that I think he did that I really appreciated, and that's in this interview that he did with Billy Bush. He said, these people, referencing YouTubers, podcasters, TikTok creators, all that. He said, these people actually give someone a chance. They dig through the things and they say to the public, hold on, this doesn't seem to be true. There are things that don't add up or that don't appear to be true. And thank God that the universe, and then thank the universe for those people out there, because it's just one person helping another and we're all trying to get to the truth. And listen, the truth is what I'm the most invested in. So I'm going to ask all the questions. I'm going to run down every rabbit hole until I find some sort of, theory that makes sense. So that's just where we is. That's where it's at. Let's get it, get it, get it. But I'm curious if you guys, I did like the interview overall. I thought he did a really good job of addressing things and, just keeping us looped in. Billy Bush, again, was a choice. Bryan Freedman, if you ever want to come on, um, no filter, you are more than, we will do a formal sit down in studio. We'll go into Spotify. I'll take you to the fun coffee bar, all of it. Please keep me for your consideration. This is like an Emmy Awards event. I'm like, for your consideration. For your consideration. Regarding my post. Bethany is usually on, but wow, she missed the mark. Yes and no. You have to understand Bethany's goal and Bethany's objective is to stay relevant, right? That's why sometimes she puts out some of these crazy things. It was funny. I don't know why her reality reckoning was on my mind this morning, which ultimately didn't reckon anything. But Bethany's whole premise is to make sure that she floods your algorithm and to make sure that she says things that are going to get you, that are thought provoking, that are going to get you to react, right? And so and she knows that you may not always agree with her. I think there are traits in Bethany that I also have in myself, because I also tend to do things like that as well. But when it comes to Bethany specifically, although I don't fully agree with her on the SNL bit, and her and I are both kind of, we see it the same, but not fully when it comes to the PR move. Oh, but here's the thing. So SNL, because Bethany said that it was the smartest move that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively could have done, right? Because they are staying relevant and they're keeping their face up in Hollywood. Ryan Reynolds also did a cameo in the this week's episode of The Voice. Now, I'm not sure how The Voice works because, frankly, I don't watch The Voice, and I only saw the clip of his cameo this morning. Is the voice pre-taped or is it live? So like The Masked Singer, which is on Fox, that's something that they tape fully in advance, right? They tape the whole season and then it airs months later. And so, but I don't know, but like other shows like American Idol, those they have a portion of it that's taped in advance and then they have the actual competition that's taped live. Well, I guess it would be live, right? Because they have to vote. But I know the auditions are pre-taped, but the audience voting episodes, those are live. So I don't know if this was a live episode of The Voice or if it was a pre-recorded episode that was taped prior, where Ryan Reynolds had already made his cameo, probably off of the PR from promoting Deadpool. It totally may have been taped in advance. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think that Ryan Reynolds, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if his publicist or his PR team decided that this was the move to make, was to keep him top of mind. And they want to keep him an A-list celebrity, right? They want to keep him top of mind, good face, nice, fun guy making jokes. They want to keep him doing the rounds so that he stays in front of everybody, and they remind you how funny he is and how attractive he is and how loved he is by Hollywood. But he's not that loved by Hollywood anymore, because it seems like Hollywood is turning on them, which brings us to our next story, which is the snub that they got at SNL. So this article came out, but before we dive into that, I do want to give a shout out to this week's sponsors, and that is Rocket Money and BioRay. BioRay, I love me some BioRay. Head on over to BioRay.com, use code ZACK, Z-A-C-K, and get that free shipping. BioRay products are the plant medicine that you've been looking for. Tasty liquid tinctures for ease of intake. They're yummy. They're good. I've been now that I've officially finished my a 75 hard. Didn't or now it's transitioned to 75 soft, but I still want to keep my liver healthy. So I've been taking their liver lover. Want to keep my liver cute, right? It's a revitalizing liver tonic with medicinal mushrooms and micronized chlorella. So it's good for reducing irritations from food and environment. It helps balance the mood. It helps promote healthy skin. Everyone's always talking about how great my skin looks. It helps support a healthy metabolism. And then since I'm traveling this week, I definitely like to make sure that I always keep stocked with primary detox. It's great before the plane. It's great when you're landing after the plane, because there's just so much toxicity that you're inhaling, especially when you're breathing in all the recycled air. Sometimes you're breathing in the people's farts. So primary detox by BioRay, also another one of my favorites. It's a heavy metal detox. It helps to remove toxic heavy metals, chemicals, and support your adrenal function and detox pathways, especially in the liver. So my liver is going to be extra healthy this month. But if you want to give BioRay a try, go to BioRay.com and use code ZACK for free shipping. That's code ZACK, Z-A-C-K, at BioRay, BIORAY. They have products for the whole family: infants, kids, teens, adults. They even have an intimate line for the partners, the couples. If you're still riveted after Valentine's Day and you want to keep things spicy in the bedroom, check out BioRay.com, BIORAY.com. Link is in the description below. And also, shout out to Rocket Money. The start of a new year is the perfect time to get organized, set goals, and prioritize what matters most. As I told you, this is my year to really prioritize my financial wellness. We're going to get it together. And I feel like that's just more important now than ever. In this economy, let's get it, right? Thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel more achievable. They show me all of my subscriptions all in one place and help me easily cancel the ones that I forgot that I've been paying for. Rocket Money also pulls together all of my spending across all my different accounts so that I can clearly track my spending habits and see where I can cut back. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of 500 million in canceled unwanted subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using their app's premium features. So, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. I feel like Blake Lively is going to need some Rocket Money after all of this mess. Go to rocketmoney.com/nofilter today. That's Rocket Money, ROCKETMONEY, rocketmoney.com/nofilter. That's rocketmoney.com/nofilter. Go get it. Okay. SNL. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively decide that this is just a genius PR move. I think Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Bethany Frankel are the three that were like, this is so smart. We should absolutely do this. And I've always said Colin Jost, I think, absolutely felt the same way. He's like, yes, please do it. Please do this. It's going to make you look so great. And as we're seeing, they're killing it this week. But so apparently, and we kind of saw this, right? So who was it? Chevy Chase took a photo with them. Dakota Johnson took a photo with them. She was from 50 Shades of Grey. She played the female lead in 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, Dakota Johnson, right? That's her name. Did I say something different? But so she took a photo with Blake Lively. It doesn't seem like many people are like all of that jazzed to be hanging out with them. And I'm pretty sure we're shocked. I said from the beginning, I thought that this was a smart move on SNL and NBC, because at the end of the day, it got everyone. We're still talking about this, right? We're still out here talking about SNL. Even though we're not talking about the memory of SNL, we're still referencing it, keeping SNL top of mind, right? Keeping views going and attention going to NBC. It was a smart move on their end. They knew that they were going to get some attention from. It's the same thing like when Anna Delvey joined Dancing with the Stars. And everyone's like, "What? Anna Delvey? She's going to be wearing her ankle monitoring bracelet? That's terrible. That's preposterous." And everybody was like clutching their pearls and clenching their buttholes and freaking the fuck out, right? Well, Chevy Chase probably doesn't know that. Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sure Chevy Chase has he's not on Instagram, right? He's not watching No Filter with Zack Peter. He has no clue what the hell's going on. He's like heard about a little thing, but I'm sure the most he's heard is that Blake Lively has been harassed, right? If that voice message would have started with, "Hey Ryan, it's me, Justin," none of this would have happened. Could you imagine? Yes, Danny says 2.4 in the room and only 260 likes. Guys, hit the like button. Yes, if you're watching this live on YouTube right now, hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're seeing. But so the fact that this report came out from TMZ that basically all of Hollywood was shunning them like the plague. They didn't really want to be around them. We saw Amy Schumer. There's like an awkward video. I mean, I looked at that video two different ways. There's this video of Amy Schumer and she's being very polite to Blake Lively and she kind of like, is like, "Oh, hi, how are," like it was a very brief interaction, but you can see like Blake Lively goes in to embrace Amy and gives her a hug and then like keeps rubbing her shoulder and like talking to her. And she's like, "I'm good, I'm good." And so you can tell that it's kind of awkward, but these scenarios and these situations, especially given the fact that there are tons of cameras that are on you throughout the entire night, they're awkward in general, right? And also, even if Amy Schumer is willing to co-sign Blake Lively, like I'm not shocked. Like Amy Schumer, of all people, I'm sure is right there. Hashtag Blake Lives Matter. Like Amy Schumer is going to be in the march in support of Blake, right? Hashtag Believe Blake. Amy Schumer would be leading the charge. I'm not surprised at all. Like Amy Schumer is, one of the wokest celebrities in Hollywood and part of why I think she's kind of lost the plot with the audience. So but Amy was not hugging her back. She was and she wasn't, right? I know people are hyper fixated, James, on the hand, right? Because Amy's hand was like this and she like put her arm around her but like didn't fully touch her or embrace her. I don't know. Again, like I said, I can view it from both angles where I can kind of see Amy like awkwardly saying hello to her, but like wanting to embrace her. And then, on the other side, um, I can see Blake Lively kind of, trying to align herself with somebody, with another woman and be like, "Embrace me, hug me, love me," you know? So who knows? But the fact is we don't see them like, we don't have and the fact that we're even having a conversation about whether or not Amy Schumer was visibly comfortable or uncomfortable, I think based off of that footage, and we're viewing it very differently. Also notice, but the fact that we're having that conversation tells us that it's not with full confidence that we think Amy Schumer was uncomfortable or not uncomfortable, but it's possible, right? We're like torn about the footage. But what's interesting is if you look at that piece of footage, you can see that Amy Schumer, like it's at least an awkward encounter, regardless of why it's awkward. The encounter itself is awkward. However, on the flip side of that, the footage that we saw of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni did not have that same mixed reaction. I think anybody that watched that footage and used two eyes and two ears and a critical thinking brain absolutely saw that what Blake Lively was claiming in her lawsuit and what the footage proved, it was very clear that Blake Lively's narrative did not match the objective evidence, which was the raw audio and video. And then you add in the context that Blake Lively's team didn't know that there was even audio that was being recorded because in their lawsuit they claimed that there wasn't any audio being recorded. But Baldoni was like, "Surprise, XOXO Gossip Girl, I was recording the audio the entire time." That to me is a very incriminating and damning piece of evidence. So, and there's no real debate up for that. Like most people are overwhelmingly clear that that footage very much showed that Blake Lively was not uncomfortable as she claims that she was. Her character was told to play coy. So anybody that wants to twist the narrative that way absolutely is having a warped sense of what that footage tells us. It's a very clear concrete piece, you know? It's awkward because Blake Lively hugged her in clear desperation. That's, I think, what made it awkward, right? Because you can see Amy Schumer didn't lean in for the hug. She kind of like leaned in to be polite and say hello. But Blake Lively is the one that ultimately embraced, like really dove in for the hug, right? "I'm going in for the kill." Didn't it for the thrill, 'cause I'm going in for the kill. So, to me, questionable. But also, Hollywood is so much about the virtue signaling. Now, I know we have like Kevin Costner that people are bringing into question, Cher, Jenny Ortega, all people that were sitting around Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni during the skit that aired on the SNL anniversary special. Looking at their faces, looking at their reaction. I mean, I also kind of feel like Kevin Costner is probably somebody that's also similar to Chevy Chase, not really on social media, doesn't know all the details of the case, doesn't really care, was kind of confused about all of it altogether. Or he could have known. And Cher, I also don't think knows all of the details. I mean, I don't know. Do we think Kevin Costner and Cher are, watching No Filter and Daily Dostana and Candace Owens show? Like they're like keeping up with all of this? They were very confused, but how much of this info do we think that they are savvy on? Either way, I agree. They were not amused by it. And it could be because they really do believe that this is all one big farce that she's spearheading. We don't know how much of it they've kept up with, but it's interesting because the narrative really does seem to um, lean more towards supporting Blake in Hollywood because of the virtue signaling, let me try to look good. Let me do the believe women, hashtag believe Blake. Like all of it to me, Hollywood's just so phony and fake that they're always going to align with the victim in a case like this. And we have to call her the victim because that's what she's claiming, even though we don't necessarily want to say that Justin Baldoni is guilty yet. He's still innocent until proven guilty, but we'll have to see how that unfolds. Unapologetically me, Chris Goldall 83 says, anyone else in general getting sick of being told that we're stupid? We only believe Justin Baldoni because he's attractive. Like we don't have brain and wrinkles. Come on. Brain wrinkles and common sense. Come on. I agree. I don't like being gaslit. And I thank you for the super chat. I agree with you on that because I saw that people were like, Blake Lively's allowed to live her life, you guys. Like, what is she, even if she's, because my point was like, if she's so traumatized, why is she getting glammed and going and taping SNL? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And so many other people are like, she's allowed to live her life. And I'm just like, well, yeah, she's allowed to live her life, but living your life is going to the grocery store. Living your life is having brunch with friends. This is not living your life. This is actually making a choice to participate in a PR stunt. And then people are like, well, Justin Baldoni was just spotted in, what was it, Hawaii? And he was on the beach and he was shirtless, showing off his pecs and his abs for the paparazzi. Even if that was a stage paparazzi scene, he's out with his family. He's surfing. And they're just like, well, surfing shows that he doesn't really have a bad back. Sounds like he's a liar. And I'm just like, first of all, surfing is one thing. Okay. And lifting up another person is another thing. So when he says he has a hurt back, when you lift up another person, like that's going to be a little heavier on the back. So I don't think that they're comparable for him to be out surfing with his family, trying to get away from everything, and for her to make an active elective choice where a lot of cameras are going to be on you. You have to get in full glam, hair and makeup. Like being at the beach and being on a red carpet, to me, sorry, a little different. And then everyone's like, well, she was working. She has to work just because you're traumatized. You're in a lawsuit doesn't mean you have to work. Okay. She has money. She has A Simple Favor Part 2 that's coming out. That's paid. She has money from It Ends With Us. That's paid. She has Ryan Reynolds Marvel money. That's bank. They're fine. They don't need the money. And I highly doubt they were paid to attend this event. They did it for the PR. They did it for the optics, which tells me again, I don't think that they are confident that they're going to win this case. And that's why they're playing the Hollywood game. That's why we're seeing them on TMZ, or sorry, that's why we're seeing them on SNL. And that's why we're seeing him on The Voice. Like, I think they're playing the Hollywood game because they already know that they're probably, if they don't stay ahead of the cameras and they don't stay public facing, then eventually they're going to fade into obscurity. They're going to fade into oblivion. And they would rather they're being sued into oblivion, but they don't want to fade into oblivion too. And listen, she's not, somebody said Blake Lively's not a poor working class woman struggling to put food on the table for her kids. Yeah, no, she's not. SNL is a paid appearance. No, SNL is not a paid appearance. She didn't get paid for that. She didn't need to go to this. And also, even if they wanted to attend, to walk the red carpet and take a photo and look like we're amazing, fine. They didn't need to participate in a skit. And if they're going to participate in a skit, they didn't need to participate in a skit that pokes fun at the lawsuit. So to me, those pieces don't add up. They just don't. But they'll have nothing to whine about. Say what? Say what? So it doesn't make sense. Justin being yummy is just a bonus. I know. You know, Blake Lively's at home on her iPad scrolling at the photos. She's just like, there he is. And then she's like, excuse me, Ryan, I'm going to excuse myself to the bathroom. And then all you hear is, he's like, babe, why are you on top of the washing? Why are you on top of the dryer? She's like, I'm doing laundry. Leave me alone. Why didn't she wear a sexy beanie? I mean, I don't know. I know I was being sarcastic, hence the use of the emoji. Oh, we'll see. See, emojis matter. Context matters. Context matters. You guys are gonna laugh at my you're gonna laugh at my laundry joke, but you're not gonna laugh at my hashtag Blake Lives Matter joke. Not the zzz. Yeah. Justin is like, he's yummy. Like, listen, if Justin, I got a job for you, no teeth, if that's how you like it. Or I can use a little teeth. Let me know. I'm about that. I'm doing laundry. Leave me alone. Not the dryer vibrator. It made them seem cringy and tone deaf. I agree. Zach, when I Google Blake Lively amended complaint dropping today, Google brings up 4 YouTube videos and 3 of them are all yours. I love it. I love it. I know I Googled, because I wanted to watch the Bryan Freedman interview with Billy Bush, and I Googled Bryan Freedman, Billy Bush interview. And when I Googled that, there were a bunch of like social media videos that came up from me. And I was like, why am I flooding the Bryan Freedman, Billy Bush interview here? See, that tells you should come on No Filter with Zach Peter, not Hot Mic with Billy Bush. Which, I mean, come on, Bravo and Billy Bush both have podcasts called Hot Mic. Why the BLM movement hates Zach? I don't hate the BLM movement. I'm just making a joke about the virtue signaling in Hollywood and how they turn a social cause and they turn everything into a social cause, and it's a movement and it's a hashtag, and we're going to wear all black to the Golden Globes to make a statement, right? And Selena Gomez is going to go on the internet and cry on her cell phone and record it and post it from her mansion because she's upset about immigration. It's like my point is celebrities are fake and phony, and it's all performance, right? It's not real. It's not real. Trust me, I grew up in Los Angeles, born and raised in this, like Kyle Richards. I was born in this town and I can always spot a fake. Yeah, I can spot a fake. And I can tell you, most of these bitches are fake AF. Oh. Let's see. Chloe Parker says, without YouTubers and the people, Blake Lively would have destroyed Justin Baldoni already. We were really interestingly community time now. Yeah, I agree. I love the DIY world. I wouldn't say it's a DIY world. Put a little respect on my name, Chloe, but I agree with you. I think because of, our access to information, like how many times has Blake Lively tried to control the narrative with all of this? And she's so easily debunked and she's so easily shut down. And I love that not because I want to silence a woman, but because it's very obvious to me that there are loopholes in her story and she has not been able to fill those in. Right. And as much as she wants Baldoni to fill her holes, it ain't happening. The loopholes in her stories, it ain't adding up. Cindy says, I'm a Voice fan. Blind audition started last summer, so Ryan's appearance happened in July or August. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. That's very important context. We have Kathy D says, Bryan Freedman is waiting to see if they dare add the forged documents to the amended complaints. Why do you think it's not out yet? Last minute rewrites. They're backtracking because everyone knows the documents are fake. Either they're fake or there are pieces of it that are they're either fake or there are pieces of it that are not. Like, there's something about these documents, because even when I talk to people that work in HR, they were very clear that these documents are off, right? Like, because normally you would have the victim's complaint, and then you would have the accused complaint, and then you would have witness accounts, you would have any contextual evidence that's important to this investigation, and then after all of that information, then you would see the results, right? Like the result wouldn't be on the first page because you wouldn't just get the summary and then the results unless it was something that was possibly retyped or like. But again, we saw that in Blake Lively's initial evidence that was released, that the text messages that she posted from Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan lacked context. They lacked other correspondence. The emoji was edited out. So to me, we've already seen this tactic from Blake Lively's team in the past. That I wouldn't be surprised if this somehow originated from them. A lot of it just doesn't make sense. Unless there's really truly some wackadoodle that's out there that's just putting this information strictly for the reason to like just plot against Baldoni, which would be creepy and weird. Which, side note, that wackadoodle Me Too doctor, she's now updated. Remember the one that I was talking about yesterday? Who was saying that like SA and SH are the same thing, and then she said that she had sources, that told her about these 3 other accusations, and she was reporting on this HR complaint or these HR complaints. Wackadoodle Me Too doctor has since updated her Instagram bio and now claims to be a satire account. I'm like, really? Oh, so now you're just admitting that you're a joke. I could have called that last week, but thank you for clarifying. You're a joke. 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 Baby reindeer doctor. That's funny. That's so funny. What do you think of Blake Lively wearing a silver dress just as Justin's wife wore a silver dress? Really diabolical. So this is another thing that not enough people have talked about is Blake Lively's outfit at the awards, or not the awards, the anniversary, 50th anniversary for SNL. She was wearing a silver dress. Yes, similar to Justin Baldoni's wife. But the other interesting thing is there was a detail on her torso that had florals. It wasn't bright florals, but there were florals in the detail of her dress, which was all like a metallic silver. Interesting choice, which again tells me this had to have been a deliberate choice, right? Like you're not going to wear florals. Like, was it supposed to be some sort of active rebellion of like, you're not going to silence me, don't silence women? Like, something about it feels a little off. It just didn't make sense to me. Unless she was really trying to fan the flames and poke the bear. And if it's that serious, why are you doing that? Margaret says, or could it have been an active rebellion? Could it have been like a Britney Spears hidden message? People are always dissecting Britney Spears' emojis. They're like, post wear yellow if you're locked in the basement with Justin Timberlake. And then the next day she'll like have a yellow shirt on. And people are like, oh my God, she's in the basement. Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake have her locked in the basement. And the video was taped 3 years ago and it's a green screen. They have all their theories, right? What if? Because it ends with us. This is speculation. I'm just having fun here, entertainment purposes. But what if, because everyone's like Ryan Reynolds, he's so controlling, right? If this clip goes viral, Blake Lively's team is watching and wants to get this out there. But this literally just came to my mind right now. Total theory, no facts behind it, speculation, right? All conjecture, entertainment purposes only. What if, because It Ends With Us is a movie about Lily Bloom, and Lily Bloom is in a toxic relationship with a toxic man. And so Blake Lively's promotion of the film, which was supposed to bring awareness to DV, right? I'm not saying that there's any DV happening in her marriage, but what I am saying is, what if it's some sort of like hidden message, right? Okay, now I'm going conspiracy theory, but I'm just having fun with it. Flowers, florals, like she tried to promote the film. It Ends With Us. Lily Bloom. Is she trying to say that she's in a toxic, controlling relationship? Maybe she didn't want to go to this event. Maybe Ryan Reynolds made her go to this event. Same way people think Ryan Reynolds may be spearheading this campaign because he got jealous of some potential chemistry between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I don't know. But if they're going to throw some fake HR reports my way, then guess what? She's not that smart. I'm not saying she's doing it. I'm saying her PR team maybe, or whoever's trying to put out the narrative that Ryan Reynolds is behind this, because that was the narrative that was being shoved down our throats too. James says Cecily Strong nailed her with her on Weekend Update with Colin Jost. Congratulated her on being pregnant. Yeah, I saw that. And she had the fake belly, and she was So there were other little nods to them, right? Where the message was that, oh, good point, was the message that she thinks that Baldoni's in this Lily Bloom Ryle toxic relationship. I don't know. They're both toxic. You order pizza, not wear florals. Say what? I wanna know what Lily Bloom did to be able to afford Jimmy Choo shoes, right? I work hard for my Louboutin, so when I see Lily Bloom out there with her flower shop and her wackadoodle fashions, I'm like, "How is Lily Bloom affording all of this?" Cindy says, I am certain Kevin Costner was giving them both the death stare because he just finished his movie, and Blake and Ryan are the director's number one enemy. Costner probably wants them blacklisted. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Blake Lively's original complaint on 5/26/2023. Blake Lively from 5/20 from May 26, 2023. Blake Lively went to Sony to file HR complaints, and they told her to go to Wayfair as they are only the distributor. I remember that. That's a really important piece. Okay, Rivi, thank you for sharing that. But also, wouldn't it make sense if these were draft versions that she drafted, and maybe she did send these to Sony, and maybe Sony didn't file them and maybe that's what the results is. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it because if she says that this happened on 5/26, then one of the complaints that had the date redacted, but you could see the M, that would align with May, which would make sense with May 2023. And then if these were drafts and not actually filed, then that would make sense as to why Sony didn't actually do anything, because they didn't take them because they're like, we can't do anything with this. Send it to Daryl, you know? I don't know. That's but if it happened on May 26th, 2023, and that's when they were filed, and then if they were never officially filed with Sony because Sony turned them down, then that would make sense. And then these are just drafts that they maybe wanted to put out, and maybe the attorneys are like, we legally can't include these in the complaint, but maybe if we leak them to the internet sleuths. See, they think us internet sleuths are a lot dumber than we actually are. Send it to Daryl. Yeah, send it to Daryl. I wouldn't put it past her to use a baby for empathy. Why is she using a baby for empathy? Did I miss Zach's discussion of Baldoni's lawyer's comments? Yes, we discussed that at the top of the show. Lily Bloom might have gotten her inheritance from her dad's passing. He was the mayor, wasn't he? Well, then that's some Sutton Strack money. That's like Sutton Strack with her Sutton Concept store, and she's like, I'm self-made. I made this business. I'm making this business all on my own. It's like, girl, you get $300,000 in alimony every month. You're fine. If she's pregnant, she can appear by Zoom in court. Blake, is she pregnant? Who's pregnant? Blake's pregnant? Alleged victim. Yes, thank you. Alleged victim. The HR complaints are not real. However, Bryan cannot come out ball busting because Blake Lively's legal team has not confirmed nor taken ownership of those. Yes, I agree. I think he's probably going to do. Here's the thing. He played too coy and he's too smart. I think he has a plan up he's got a trick up his sleeve. And I think he wanted to really play dumb in this interview to throw off Blake Lively's team and to let them think that he really has like he's kind of off basis. So this could be something that they do move forward with. And it's going to be like they are hoping it'll be this gotcha moment that I don't think it'll end up being. But she has until, if she's going to file a amended complaint, it'll likely be filed by end of day today. But what if there's is there a world in which she just doesn't file an amended complaint and just kind of considers this a wash and just is like, we're deciding to move forward with what we have as is? I don't know. I don't know. But Bryan Freedman did he did have a response to in Billy Bush's interview, a response to this SNL stunt that they pulled. He said, I'm unaware of anybody, quite frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation, which Ryan Reynolds has done multiple times at this point. And that's kind of the point where everyone's just like, oh, she has to work. She's a working woman. Believe Blake. Or, I saw Donna, I'm going to call out Donna Bowling right now. I love her, but I'm going to call her out right now because she sends me this TikTok video of this girl on TikTok who I don't remember her account or her video or whatever, but she posted this clip from the Las Culturistas podcast with, what was it, Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers. And Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers said that they're going to address the Blake Lively situation. And they're just like, oh my God, like two crying gays on a podcast. Groundbreaking. But so they're like, oh my God, believe women. And just, I don't understand how nobody can believe Blake. And because they're just trying to say that Blake was a nightmare to work with on set. And like, even if she is a nightmare to work with, like, that's not to say that she couldn't have been harassed. And I'm like, hey, wackadoodle. Nobody's saying that it's not within the realm of possibility that she's been harassed. The reason people have turned on her is because her evidence has been disputed. Her claims have been disputed with evidence from Baldoni's team, because they're just like, everyone keeps saying that Baldoni has receipts. What are his receipts? That she was a bitch on set? Okay. No, actually, he had video footage and raw audio, 3 different takes from one of the scenes of just one of the incidents that she claims he smelled her and told her she smells good. I'm just like, I love when people want to have a comment on this and they're just like, I think that Baldoni and Blake are both terrible people. And listen, I was in that camp at the very beginning of this. I was like, listen, it's within the realm of possibility. I think I would call Baldoni like a fake woke feminist. He's still I don't think he's a fake woke feminist. I think he is a woke feminist. But that's besides the point. I think that he's actually not this terrible person after all. Like, the more we learn about him, the more I think that Blake and Co. really just thought that he was gonna be this, meek, you know, good boy that would never fight back. But he's fighting back, and he's fighting back hard, and good for him, right? We had Jussie Smollett, we had Amber Heard. I feel like Jussie and Amber really kind of, muddied the waters of these fake Me Too. They've already tainted public perception with just immediately believing people, because they duped us the first time. We believed Jesse, we believed Amber, and then they were proven to be liars. And now I feel like Blake Lively is ultimately going to be the final nail in the coffin, and it's going to be the biggest of the three, right? It's going to blow up so massively. When Bryan Freedman said he's going to sue her into oblivion, it's going to blow up so massively. And you know what? The sad part is Hollywood's not going to get rid of her. And that's why Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are continuing to make these appearances, because they know that they can still stay in Hollywood if they stay good, right? So it's just unfortunate and redonkulous. But I'm telling you right now, Hollywood's not going to get rid of them. We, the public, will, but Hollywood's already a sinking ship, right? That's already going down the drain. Throw it in the garbage with the sprinkle cookies and the Diddy baby oil. Not interested. Go fake yourself, Megan. The date with the M visible is longer than the other two. Maybe M stands for Monday, and it was left to give the appearance that it was filed in May or March. The M through Bryan Freedman in that interview. Yeah. Which, again, I don't believe this is the first time he's ever heard about those, but I think he's playing a bigger game. But the M, I agree. But the M also could have been, because, again, Sony's statement to Variety was that there were no filings during production, right? But M could have been March or May, as you're saying in this comment. Thank you for the super chat. But the M would mean that it could have also been filed in March or May of 2024. Production wrapped in February of 2024. So it's possible that she did file these after production. That's why Sony was confidently able to say we didn't have any filings during production against Justin Baldoni. There are a lot of things within possibility, right? So it's just TBD, TBD, TBD. I agree, Zack. Paul removed fake from the Simple Movie Instagram account. Oh, did he do that, or did Blake do that? Because Blake can also remove that. Did you see Jenny Ortega's face? Jenny Ortega is probably the strongest of the celebrities in the room that night with the SNL skit. Jenna Ortega is probably the smartest ones. No need to redact dates if you're innocent. I agree. But Jenna Ortega, is on TikTok. Jenna Ortega is following this. And that Jenna Ortega is not going to fall for some Amber Heard, Jussie Smollett coming forth and ruining the women's movement. Jenna Ortega is going to be up in arms about this. So I think if any of those reactions in that room, because a lot of them are a little old, they're boomers. Like I don't really think Cher's on TikTok and following all the case. Um, so I think Jenna Ortega and her face absolutely was the strongest case about somebody in Hollywood that is truly not pleased with Blake and Ryan. Jenna Ortega is the strongest example. Sony would not let these leak either. Trust me. Yeah, I don't think so. Sony will, yeah, especially because I heard the originator of this complaint was somebody that worked at Sony. Like somebody at Sony was trying to get this information out there, which bullshit. They wouldn't be trying to get this information out there. It doesn't help them at all. If anything, it makes them look worse. Not to mention that Jenna Ortega, worked with Justin Baldoni. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, was it TMZ? I think Harvey or someone on TMZ said that Blake and Ryan, that them attending this SNL event was their statement, basically saying that like they're always going to be welcome at the Hollywood Cool Kids party, but somebody like Justin Baldoni would never be welcomed at the party like this. And I'm just here to say it. I don't think Baldoni gives a fuck about wanting to come to these parties anymore. I think he's done with Hollywood. I mean, he's still going to continue to direct and do things, but what we know is the traditional Hollywood, the land of Oz, like that whole world is crumbling, and it's crumbling before our eyes. What's the update on the faux Me Too doctor? I agree, she sounds unhinged. Well, now she's claiming that her Instagram account is a parody. Listen, screenshot her shit because she likes to change it often and delete things and all of that stuff, and the screenshots don't lie, right? So I've already seen her Instagram bio change a number of times in the past couple of days, but now it's currently saying that it's satire. Like, lady, you think I just fell out of a coconut tree? Jacqueline says, we need to be prepared that Blake made those documents about the car incident and the birthing scene, but Sony would not accept the complaint because it was not in their jurisdiction. I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think these could have been drafts that she wanted to file. Maybe she did file them. And that's how Sony could also get out of it by saying, we didn't get them filed with us, right? Send it to Daryl. And then Blake Lively went and she sent it to Daryl. I don't know. Something about it just seems off. But I think this was an attempt by Blake Lively's camp, my conjecture, attempt from Blake Lively's camp to throw this out there and muddy the waters. And you're going to hear about it in tomorrow's episode because I have on the two attorneys that Stewart and Keith that are on tomorrow. And I talked to them about this. And they told me one of the strategies that they have when the case looks too bad against you, one of the strategies is to just get a whole bunch of shit and turn it up and make the whole case so muddy and confusing that make it so confusing that that nobody can make sense of any of it. And so I think maybe that's part of what these HR complaints, and maybe I'm continuing to talk about it, will continue to make the waters muddier, and that was the intention. But again, I just have to do my due diligence. But they said that that is a tactic, and that could be likely what Blake Lively's team is looking to do, is to just make everything so messy and confusing. But here's the thing: the more they do these tactics, the more we're becoming savvy to their bullshit, and the more we're not falling for it so easily, and the more we're calling them out about it. So please keep playing your games, guys, because all it's doing is exposing you for who you are. The mask is falling. Hollywood is crumbling. The PR tricks don't work anymore. The New York Times is going to protect you. Sorry, the keys have been handed to the castle. And unfortunately, us YouTubers, us TikTokers, us podcasters, we're the media now. And unfortunately, we have a responsibility to getting to the truth. Truth matters to us, not your PR tricks and your smoke and mirrors Hollywood games. We're over it. We're done with it. We are the media now. Okay? You've lost your power. And that's kind of embarrassing when you can go from being the New York Times and Megan Twohey to then people trusting my word. I'm literally a podcaster on the internet. Like, how embarrassing for Megan Twohey. What a loser. Sorry. That was the other thing the Culturistas guys were saying. They're like, Megan Twohey's a Pulitzer Prize winner, blah, 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 and you're not going to believe her. Yeah, when she gets exposed for lying and she shows her ass to the world. And when I become more credible than Megan fucking Twohey, that's embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. And I'm sure, she is going to continue to put her mask on every day and buy her own bullshit. We don't believe it anymore. Roxy caught my Blake Lives joke. Thank you. Hollywood only ostracizes falsely accused predators. Yes. The HR complaints have a remedy if they were real. Some of them do. Baldoni's team would have been made aware about them, but Bryan already says that they aren't aware of such complaints. Yes, which was a smart clue from his. The dates will show us the truth. The dates are the most important. Absolutely. Nicole, wow, thank you, Nicole, for the super chat. What do you think of the consequences will be in the end? Justin Baldoni has a wife and kids and has potentially ruined his life. She's made SH and SA a joke, and it's become more difficult for women in the future. That's the unfortunate part, is it really has become more difficult in the future. And that was my issue. Thank you, Nicole, for the super chat. That was my issue with, what's his name? Brandon. My issue with Brandon was he was like, oh, we need to remember the premise of the movie if it ends with us. And I'm like, great sentiment, bro. But guess what? You already fucked up. You immediately spoke out in support of Blake Lively without getting the full picture of the story because you wanted to make sure you were on the right side of history. So you wanted to make a stance and make a statement. And unfortunately lost credibility. And I feel bad because I don't think he's a bad dude, but that's why it's not cool to go out there and put a statement out there without having the details. And not only that, but you screwed up, got it, but then to not take accountability for it now, to be like, listen, I got caught up in the moment. I believed her. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what actually went down. I didn't see any of this stuff. And unfortunately, I hope that, obviously there are a lot of allegations that are going, like if I were in his situation and I fumbled the ball like Brandon did, I would have been like, listen, I know I spoke out early. That was before I had all of the details and all of the facts and all of the information, and it's still continuing to unfold. So I don't think any of us can make a firm judgment one way or the other. I judged too quickly. I jumped in too quickly, and I need to take accountability for that. That's not to say that I don't believe Blake, and that's not to say that I don't believe, but like you can stay in the middle, right? You can still stay in the middle, but just be like, but take accountability for jumping in and saying something too soon. But he doesn't want to ruffle his feathers with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and WME. And that's where he fumbled the ball. And unfortunately, WME and Hollywood and that whole world is crumbling. So if that's what you're fighting to stay a part of, good luck in 10 years. I want to see where you're at in 10 years. Because we, the people, not going to forget it. And not going to forget that you didn't take accountability for it. At least own it. Own it, baby. Own it. Take a page out of Lisa Rinna's book. Strong Choices says, I heard Onaja was detained in Dubai. I'll spring for the flight for us. We should bring her home. I'm a lawyer, not licensed there, but maybe we can try. DM me if you want to go to Strong Choices 1. Thank you, Strong Choices 1. I want to save Onaja. The last we heard about Onaja Robinson was who was the lady in Pakistan, and then she ended up going to Dubai. The last update that we have of her was her boarding a flight from Dubai to JFK. I'm now going to JFK, but I'm not with the intention of saving Onaja, but maybe we can. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But I agree. I think she ended up getting detained we have to find her son. We have to find the interview with her son. I mean, and not to find her son to do anything or bring him into this, but like with the sake of like trying to help him. If he really is as vulnerable or as people are claiming, then he needs support here. He needs help to bring his mother home, especially if she's been arrested in Dubai. Is there an amended complaint yet? No. The TV and film industry isn't going anywhere, but we do want change as consumers. But my point is traditional Hollywood is gone. TV and film will still be around and projects will still move forward. The same way at one point, movie theaters were the forefront of TV and film. And now they're not because streaming services came into the play. And so many traditional A-list Hollywood actors went from being film actors to now doing these series, right? These streaming series. So to me, it's ever evolving. It's always changing, right? The industry is always growing and changing. It looks like as of right now, the only thing that is dominating the news feeds is Brandon Sklenar. No amended complaint as of 9:43 Pacific, 9, 10, 11, 12 Eastern. So as of noon Eastern time, noon 1 p.m. Eastern time, we have no amended complaints. All right, guys. That's all I got for you. New episode will air tomorrow. Like I said, almost 700 likes on YouTube. Thank you, guys. 3,100 streaming this live right now. Thank you. Please continue to support the podcast. I believe as of this morning, we're number 7 on Spotify right now. Go listen on Spotify. Leave a comment. Like if you guys really want to support. Can we get to number 5? Like that would be amazing, right? Go stream it, leave a review, leave a rating on Apple. I think we're number 11 on Apple right now. And on Spotify, I'm number 6 on Spotify. Do you think we can boost that? Leave a comment, hit the little rating button, stream an episode, re-listen to another episode, or at least hit play. Do the things. Let's see if we can get above 6. I'll keep you guys posted. Above 6 on Spotify. And right now we're at 11 on Apple Podcasts. Wild. Thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Follow me at Just Plain Zack. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack. And I'm so grateful that you tune in. You trust me. You know, you go through the details with me. We play devil's advocate. We poke at both sides. We try to stretch it out and try to see what we can find in it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You have no idea. But yes, I am traveling to New York. No other live streams on YouTube should be happening, but we'll see. Maybe there's an emergency somewhere and we need to, maybe I can live stream from Spotify. I don't know. Stay tuned. I love you guys. Give me a follow, Just Plain Zack, to keep up with me. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack, and I will talk to you guys later.